Brace yourselves, patriots. We're witnessing the fall of a media empire that dared to challenge the establishment narrative. InfoWars, the controversial platform founded by Alex Jones, is being forced into liquidation. A federal judge has ordered its assets to be auctioned off this November, but make no mistake, this is not just about Alex Jones. This is about the First Amendment being put through the wood chipper. Are we watching the death of free speech in America? Well, stay tuned because this story is far from over. Now, if you are feeling pain of watching free speech under attack, listen up. Just as InfoWars faces liquidation, many Americans face daily physical pain without relief. But there is hope. While we can't stop the assault on the First Amendment overnight, we can address your body's pain today. Enter Conolidine, a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It's powerful enough for UFC fighters and could be your answer to pain-free living. Don't let pain silence you like they're trying to silence alternative media. Try it risk-free for 90 days. You're days away from beating pain forever, even if we can't immediately cure the pain of censorship. Go to trycono.com/NNN. You'll find a link down below. Now, I'm going to take you down a little trip down memory lane here, because I've worked with Alex, man, long time. See these pictures here? There's that's me and Angie. That was, goodness, 2007, I think that was. Yeah, 2007, when I had the Lone Lantern Society. That's me and Alex marching down the street in Chicago. I don't remember what street that was, but that's Alex and me. Look at me. Oh, man. I remember that. And then flash forward years later, Alex in his studio. I was there with him. There I am. Chad taking the picture behind the scenes. There's me and Alex the night before, enjoying some tequila at the bar before we went to dinner. It was a good night with Alex that night. But now, it's getting dark at InfoWars. And before I get to Owen Shroyer's remarks, I put out a tweet, and I said that everybody, all freedom-loving billionaires, now is the time to act, and repost this call to action. A federal judge has ordered InfoWars to be liquidated to pay a group of families. Of course, you can't even say the name here. InfoWars has stood as a stronghold for free speech, and now it is under attack for telling the truth. But everything, the assets, the platform, the tools that keep this voice alive, don't let censorship win. Step up and help preserve InfoWars for the future of free speech in America. And I tagged Elon Musk in this. And now, what's wild is, as I was researching this topic for you guys, that is all I saw. Bridget Gabriel, Elon Musk should purchase InfoWars and make Alex Jones the CEO. Nivek, wouldn't it be funny if Elon Musk showed up and bought InfoWars and then just gave it back to Alex Jones? Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene with Alex. She says, I've always liked Alex. The judge ordering Alex Jones to be auctioned off to pay $1.5 million defamation damages, a sum he could never pay, proves it was always really about destroying Alex Jones. Roger Stone tweeting out that he's putting together a group to buy InfoWars and hire Alex Jones to run it. Alex Jones assets to be auctioned. InfoWars to be liquidated and auctioned off in November, with U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez stating he will approve the auctions. Now, how does that work? How do they approve the auctions? Because can one billionaire come in and swoop in and buy it all? You're going to auction, and like just have this bidding war? Or does it have to be individual buyers for each piece? Like, what are they going to auction off? His monitor screens? His computers? Like, what are they going to auction off? The switchboards? What's interesting is just recently, if you don't know, Russia Today, they were canceled completely. They were deleted from YouTube and basically kicked out of the United States. They had a studio in Washington, D.C. And I forget how I came to see this, but I noticed the auction site. I noticed this auction site for media equipment, and I looked at it. I said, "What is this? Like, this is a full-blown media studio in Washington, D.C.?" And as I scroll through the listing, I recognize that this was all RT equipment. And I saw how it was all sectioned off. Like, there was a bulk listing of 5 adapters. There was an entire studio setup with video walls. There was news desk. There was cameras. There was monitors. Everything that you would need to start your own news channel. In fact, I was like, man, if I had the money, I would buy a lot of that equipment and, upgrade this studio. I mean, this studio is pretty good, I have to say, for what we have and what we've been using. But I envisioned that's theoretically how they would auction this off. But if a judge is going to be approving it, what if this judge goes, "Oh, I don't want Roger Stone and his crew to buy this. We're not going to let one corporation come in and buy this." So does all the people Roger is assembling, are they going to have to step up and coordinate sales individually? Is that judge going to shut those things down because they know their agenda to just give it back to Alex Jones? Because the whole idea is to shut down Alex Jones regardless. If you remember, the CIA and FBI got caught bragging to an undercover journalist how they set up real Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, so we were... You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do.
How?
You set them up.
Does the Bureau practice entrapment a lot?
And we get really close. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick little... just to see what happens. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow. Nothing like putting out a fake social media thing to like really get people mad.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, so we were after him.
You are?
We did what we wanted.
Which was what?
Took his money away, chopped his legs off.
Gavin O'Blennis is a contracting officer at the CIA. O'Blennis worked for the FBI in 2021 and 2022 in the San Diego office, moved on to Homeland Security where he conducted asylum interviews at the southern border, and now works for the CIA managing multi-million-dollar contracts across government agencies and private sector vendors.
I work for, how do I put this without, I'm not supposed to tell people kind of job. If I say intelligence, what do you think?
CIA?
Yep.
Oh, you work for the CIA?
I do.
That's incredible.
I'm a contracting officer.
That's amazing.
So I deal a lot with like different agencies. We're contracting with like Director of National Intelligence to do stuff. We do
2022
So,
in the
take it back here.
Yeah, we get really close. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick little, just to see what happens. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow. Nothing like putting out a fake social media thing to like really get people mad.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, so we were after him.
You are?
We did what we wanted.
Which was what?
Took his money away, chopped his legs off.
Chop his legs off, take his money away. And that's what they're doing right now. That is exactly what they're doing. On Tuesday, a U.S. bankruptcy judge in Houston said he would approve an order to auction off Alex Jones' InfoWars assets in November. Let's go
When I joined
to
InfoWars.
Owen Shroyer. He posted this last night when the news broke. I reached out to some of the guys on the team there to find out what was going on, and Alex posted a message this morning, but here's Owen.
All right, guys. I've been getting a lot of messages about the breaking news about InfoWars, so I figured I would come on here and just make a public statement. Let me start with this. I've never been more proud of the work that I've done at InfoWars. You see, when I left sports media in 2016 to get into political commentary, it was InfoWars that invited me in. It was InfoWars that offered me a job. I was an anti-government guy. I was an anti-lying media guy. I was an anti-lying politician guy. And quite frankly, for somebody like me to break into the political media like that was not an easy thing to do. And there weren't really platforms out there that would host a guy like me or eventually give me a show and allow me to create my own content in the way that I see fit. But InfoWars did. And it's now total confirmation that I made the right decision. And let me tell you, it was a decision that came with a lot of consequences. Some obvious. I was put in prison. I've been sued multiple times. I've been attacked. I've been assaulted. I've been censored across the internet. I get blackballed from pretty much, or have been in the past, from pretty much all conservative outlets. But you notice that the narrative is changing. You notice that everybody sounds like InfoWars now. You notice that everybody wants to have Alex Jones on now. Because they're realizing Alex Jones and InfoWars were not censored, were not attacked, and now as of today, being shut down and liquidated, not for lying, but for telling the truth. Because you see, if it was for lying, then wouldn't it be the mainstream media on trial? Trump-Russia collusion, Hunter Biden laptop is fake, vaccines are safe and effective, weapons of mass destruction. Should I go on? So no, I've never been more proud of my work at InfoWars than I am today. I've never had total confirmation that I joined the right team of telling the truth and anti-corruption media than today when I joined InfoWars. And now, yet again, at this level of the InfoWars saga, people will see how the First Amendment and free speech is under attack, and all the weapons they will use against Americans to try to take your rights from you and shut you down if you won't be silenced. Now, that's all I'm going to say on this. I'm not going to comment on the court developments or the legalese. I would advise you to tune into the Alex Jones Show tomorrow. This is his company. This is his story. I was just honored to be a part of it. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a fight for the future of this country. We're in a fight for freedom. We're in a fight for truth. And it's never been more proof positive that I made the right decision in that choice to join InfoWars. And I've never been more proud of the work I've done at InfoWars than I am today.
You know, it's painful to hear him talk about InfoWars in the past tense. Oh, I remember many years ago when some years before this photograph was taken, I spent all this time downloading Alex Jones films. All these movies, they were like on this downloading peer-to-peer program. It wasn't like a torrent program. It was some other program. And I downloaded just every single Alex. I'm like, who is this guy? I downloaded all these videos, and I just sat and watched every one of them. I must have spent an entire Saturday watching 5 or 6 different Alex Jones films. And I realized that I wasn't crazy. That all the things I knew, all the things I was researching prior to learning about Alex Jones, Alex only confirmed it in a visual narrative sense. Because one thing when you go and you read these books or magazines that talk about these different entities and groups. But it's another thing when somebody puts it together in a format that's palatable and visually engaging. It's the same experience I got when I eventually met Aaron Russo, and he made the movie America, Freedom to Fascism. And I saw Aaron's words in his narrative presented on a big screen. Like, it was one thing to watch all of Alex's movie on a small screen in my basement in my house years and years ago. But then all of a sudden you see Aaron Russo's film, this Hollywood producer, mind you, not a news broadcaster in Austin, Texas, but the guy that worked with Bette Midler and Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Worked in Hollywood, produced big films, box office hits. Now presenting a film exposing the entire scam right there on the big screen. That moment changed my life. And that moment is what led me to where I am right now. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Aaron Russo. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like Alex Jones. So to hear this message being presented in the past tense, it's heartbreaking. But we have to remember that it is more than InfoWars. Like, we are all Alex Jones. I'm being persecuted in my own right for the truth that I present on this channel. I take risks every day opening my mouth. But we are all Alex Jones, and it's really about the ideas. It's about the message. It's about the movement. It's about waking people up, not getting woke. It's about waking people up. It's about the scales falling from our eyes so we can see the world for what it really is, and we can see the demons. We can see them all. And what I think what's really, really beautiful, and it's another one of these like massive, like culture jam, paradigm shifting moments is when you see Alex Jones sitting on a stage with Tucker Carlson. Okay? Go back. I mean, I remember Tucker Carlson years ago when he would not even entertain any of these ideas that Alex would have presented. And now here he is, and inviting Alex Jones to join a stage with him and interviewing him and joining forces with him. My friends, we are at a major, like a beachhead moment for our movement of truth that we have all been fighting for decades. Remember when you used to get laughed at when you would talk about things? I would get laughed at when I would talk about alternative sweeteners. I would get laughed at when we talk about all these topics, and now it's like, it's common knowledge. It's because the message continues to permeate for decades and decades and decades, and it sinks in. And then you have moments like this that you see right here, Alex and Tucker on stage together, unified. And it's a beautiful thing. And Alex is being persecuted for that. But it's an idea they cannot kill. Ideas are bulletproof. Remember that. Okay? This is not the end of Alex Jones by any stretch. They can take his... I want to go in like a Braveheart rant. They can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. You know. Think about it. They could take his entire operation. They can take his cameras. They can take his monitors. They can take all of it. But guess what? He can still go on social media. He can still present his message. He can still pull up his phone, record a message, and broadcast it to the world. And that's why they're trying to take his social media accounts away. Oh yeah, it's not just about his studio and his infrastructure. They want to shut down all of his social media accounts again. Now, if they do come in and liquidate InfoWars, there's going to be intellectual property that might go along with it. They might go ahead and take his InfoWars X account. They might take that, but they can't take his personal account. They can't take all of his producers' accounts. No, they can't. And if someone comes in like a Roger Stone brings in a coalition of investors to buy it up, then it's game on, friends. But if you want to watch this video, I clipped it out, I put it on my X profile. It's Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson discussing how turning away from God has led to societal collapse with rising crime, degeneracy, and control by the global elite. They claim that the elites view humanity as disposable, pushing depopulation and a globalist agenda. It's about a 5-minute clip. Head on over to my X channel and my X feed, and you can see it there. I will repost it right now, just so that it's at the top of the feed for you guys. Say a prayer for Alex. Say a prayer for his team. We've been doing this. We've been fighting this thing for a long time, my friends. We've been doing this for a long time. That was a great moment that I had with Alex. I'll never forget that. There will be more. So there you have it, folks. A media outlet silence, not by the strength of counter-arguments, but by the crushing weight of legal action. But here's what I want to know from you. Is this justice being served, or is this a chilling precedent for independent media everywhere? If InfoWars can be shut down, who is next? Your favorite podcaster? This very show? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, silence in the face of censorship is complicity. So speak up while you still can.